Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer for those that are new, and today's video is going to be updating my book journal for the month of October and getting things set up for the month of November. I'm excited to fill in the 65 books that I have now read for this year. We're going to be adding and making sure that all of those have been added to the bookshelves in my book journal, and then move on to my favorite book for the month of October, and then filling in the 7 books that I read in the month of October, as well as the books that were purchased, and then moving into actually updating the month for when I started and stopped different books, and then getting the new month of November set up for the month. So come along, enjoy this new video for updating the month of October, but in the month of November. Come along, grab a drink. Hopefully you enjoy this new video. All right, let's get started with updating my book journal from Peanut Butter Taco, and let's update everything that we did in the month of October and getting November set up. So here is my journal, and then here are the monthly stickers that I'm going to use from the Happy Planner, and then I have some notes of my pile of possibilities for November, and then the books that I purchased in October. And then I have these Moxie Life highlighters to keep my books color coordinated throughout the book pages. All right, let's go ahead and set the stickers aside for now, and let's go ahead and open up the book journal, and let's go ahead and fill in our bookshelves. We're gonna add some more books here, so we have a total of 65, but we have to continue our rainbow trend as we are doing these. So we left off with the blue color, and so yeah, so let's go ahead and add in the 7 books that I read for the month of October. Now that we have filled in the colors, let's go ahead and fill in the titles of the books. So let's go ahead and update them. So Small Town, Big Magic. And then A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. And so this whole bookshelf is 60 books. So I'm excited to move on to the second bookshelf. I did no idea that I would even be able to get to the second bookshelf. So this is very, very exciting for me for sure. So let's go ahead. I think I'm gonna turn it and do Cold Eternity is the next one that I read. And my breakdown of the books that I read for the month of October, that video is up if you are curious to learn more. And then Soulful Simplicity is the next one. That was the next nonfiction book I read. and then The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods. Good thing I can write small. The Honeymoon Crashers. It's the next one. It's the audiobook I listened to by Christina Lauren. And then the last book that I finished at the end of the month was The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife. I love it when the book color matches the actual book cover, which is kind of funny, of the actual book. That's so fun. Okay. All right, of Frederick Fife. So those are the 25 books that I've read so far this year. So that's very exciting. Now we're gonna move on to the favorite book of the month. So my favorite book, I had two to choose from, and the two that I had to choose from was The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods, the fourth book in the Dungeon and Carl series, which would continue the streak of 4 5-star books in a row from that series, or The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. And since I read The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping all in one day, I think I'm gonna pick that one. So it ends my streak of Dungeon Crawler Carl books, but it was still a 5-star book. I still recommend this series for sure. But let's go ahead and add in The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. The real question is, can I fit it all on one sticker? Yes, I can. I think squeeze it in there. Oh my goodness, too funny. But anyway, yeah, so these are my favorite books so far from the year, which is very exciting. So let's move on to the alphabet challenge to see if I can fill in any book titles that fit these prompts. So I have B for borrowed, H for honeymoon, G for gate, soulful simplicity for S, cold eternity, a witch's guide, magic innkeeping, W, small town big magic. Nope. So that's okay. We'll see what we can come up with. I probably won't finish this challenge, but it's just kind of fun to see what all came up. So all right, moving on to the section for the month of October. So if we move on to the October, so here's my October pile of possibilities that I did. And so now let's go ahead and put in the dates that I started and stopped different books in the month. So I started Small Town Big Magic back in September, but I finished it on the 1st. So I will put in finished and then add in Small Town Big Magic. And then the next book that I started and finished on the same day was Witch's Guide to Magic Innkeeping on a Sunday the 5th. So I'm gonna put started and finished. Awesome. And then the next book that I started was Cold Eternity. I started that the next day on the 6th. And I finished it on the 11th. Then the next book, Soulful Simplicity, my nonfiction book for the month, I did start that back in September, but I finished it on the 22nd. So I'm going to put finished. So full simplicity. And then the next book that I started was on the 15th, which is The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods. I waited to start this fourth book of the Dungeon Crawl Carl book until after I had knee surgery. And so I had knee surgery on the 15th, and so I started it that night. And I did really enjoy it. It was something for me to look forward to. And so, yeah, I really did enjoy it. I am taking a break from the Dungeon Crawl Carl series for the month of November so that I can hopefully get more of the other books that I want to read completed, some of the shorter ones, and then pick back up in the series for the month of December, which could be pretty fun. And then I finished it on the 27th. So it took me a minute because it's such a big book. It's more than 500 pages. If I can spell the G. All right, and then the Honeymoon Crashers, the audiobook I listened to. I also started it on the 27th, so I'm just gonna move it to the next day, which is the 28th. Honeymoon Crashers. I did check this one out from Libby, the library app, which is just an audiobook. It's like a 1.5 for the Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. It's only an audiobook, but it was kind of fun to can pick up back up from that world from the Unhoneymooners, which is fun. And then I finished it on the 30th. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I didn't think honeymoon crashers. I did not think I was going to have finished very many books at all for the month of October. And as you can see, I actually finished 3 books in the month of the last week of October. So I started the book club book with Krista from her Patreon group. I started The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife on the 27th as well, as an ebook from the library. I think I'm just gonna put that one the day before, which is totally fine. But then I finished it on the 30th, which then the book club was on the 2nd of November. So yeah, so I finished 3 books in the last week of the month. So you never know what your reading might turn out like. So as long as you keep going and keep reading, you never know what you can finish. So I would just say don't give up and keep reading and see what happens. And so then I finished that one also on the 30th. So I'm just going to move it to the 31st. Okay, so those are the 7 books that I did finish in the month of October. I did start one book as well in October that I have not finished, which is The Revenant X as by David Wellington. So I'm still continuing to read that one. So let's see if I can add in when that one started as well. So I started Revenant X on the 11th. So I'm gonna actually just put it on the day before. So started Revenant X, which is the sequel to Paradise 1, which is a sci-fi book. And I'm hoping to count this for the letter X in my alphabet challenge, but we'll see when I get done. I did pause that one for when I went for my knee surgery, and so Hopefully I picked it back up now. I'm more than halfway and really enjoying that one. So hopefully I will get that one done here in the early months of November. So those are all of the books that I've started and finished in the month of October, which is kind of fun to see how long it takes me to work through some of these books, which is kind of fun. These are the 10 books before the end of the year that I want to kind of read and finish, or decide to not continue depending on the book. And so yeah, so I kind of making progress with this. So I have not started this as an audiobook, but I did decide to DNF the Reformatory. I did finish Cold Eternity. I'm in the middle of Revenant X, and I did finish Witch's Guide to Magic Keeping. So I'm doing well, and so I'm continuing to make progress on this, which is very exciting. So moving on to the monthly wrap up, let's go ahead and add in those 7 books that I have read in here. So let's go ahead and add them as well in the order that I had finished them in. So Small Town Big Magic, in the comments below, share what your favorite book was for the month. What did you really enjoy reading? Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Too bad it wasn't the next yellow book to fit in this really long title, but that is okay. And of course, the shortest title is going to go in here, Cold Eternity. It's okay. It's kind of funny how it works out, for sure. And then Soulful Simplicity. If you didn't finish any books this month, but are just curious to see what I got up to, share a kind of fall emoji in the chat, like a leaf or a house, or, you know, some wind or something, some kind of weather emoji of how your weather is like lately. Yeah, I would love to hear from you and get to know you in the comments for sure. And then the Gate of the Pharaoh Gods. And then the Honeymoon Crashers. Oops, I'm gonna run out of room. Oops. And then last one, The Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife. All right, those are the 7 books that I read for the month. Let's go ahead and add in the 8 books that I purchased in the month. I had 5 books that I got from a Pango order. I do have a video of my book haul as well if you're interested in checking out those books more closely. The first one is Big Little Spells. As you can see, I got it and read it in the same month. Oh, excuse me, this is the second book. I read The Small Town Big Magic, the first book in the series, but I found the second book from a Pango shop, and including 4 other books. One is Something Wilder as well. And then I got Bookbinder's Guide to Love. Book Club Hotel. Who are also my lefties out there. And I love a coil for how things are bound and easily to be able to turn on its side. But as far as a lefty goes, it's really hard to write next to the coil. Anybody else sympathize with me out there? This is never fun to do this, but I always make it work. And then I did the Paris Connection. Those are the 5 books that I got from a Pango order. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in Pango for each of these. And then I got 3 more books from the Goodwill. So I got One Page at a Time. And then I got School Spirit. And Nightingale. The 3 books that I got from Goodwill. So I will add that. Here's the location I got them from. All right, now moving on to our November pile possibilities. And this is a fun, beautiful color for the month of November. I love that. That's a very fun navy color. All right, so I have how many books for the month of November for my pile of possibilities? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 pile of possibilities. So the first one I want to add on is The Keeper of the Lost Cities Legacy, which is book 8 by Shannon Messenger. And this is one of my 10 books I want to read before the end of the year. 4 Red Sweaters is my non-fiction book for the month, which I'm enjoying so far the last couple days that I've been reading it, starting it on the 1st of November by Lucy Adlington. And then How to Survive a Horror Story is the next one. By Mallory Arnold. And then Orphanage by the Lake. By Daniel G. Miller. And then Frozen River. Which is also another one of my 10 before the end. This one is by Ariel Lanhone. And then Station 11, which is another one of my 10 books to read before the end of the year. And that one is by Emily St. John Mandel. And then Enchanted Greenhouse. Again, another one of my 10 books before the end of the year. As you can see, I put a lot of them on my pile for this month, which is good. This one is by Sarah Beth Durst. And then The Chamber by Will Dean. This is a book that I'm reading for the month of November, and I'm going to do a spoiler-filled reading vlog. So if you want to read it with me for the month of November and then see my reactions at the end of the month, hopefully you can read it with me, and so we can kind of see each other's thoughts, and you can be able to share your comments after the vlog goes out. So I'm excited to add this new video series for a book a month that I choose to do spoiler-filled vlogs for, which I'm excited to talk about that one. So hopefully you'll join me in reading The Chamber with me. It's the second book by Will Dean that I'm reading. I loved the last one. It's one of my all-time favorite books. And so now I'm excited to read a second book to see if it's just as good, such as twisty and unexpected. We'll see what I think. The next book is Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. I kind of had added a new kind of trend the last couple months of reading something by Christina Lauren each month, so we'll see if I get to one of their books or not this month. And then Big Little Spells, continuing that series. By Hazel Beck. And I'm going to also put on Revenant next, even though I have already started it and enjoying it. That is another book that I am currently reading by David Wellington, like I said. All right, those are the 11 books that I have on my pile of possibilities for November. So now let's go to the month of November and add in the date dots so that we'll have that all ready to go for the month. So the book that I'm using of stickers for this again is the Happy Planner book. And so hopefully we can utilize these fun monthly stickers and utilize them, the month of November ones. So I'm going to go ahead and use these red kind of leafy ones and add in for the month. So let's go ahead and listen to some music while I put in these date dots. When I have months that would have to split a day, I went ahead and just move it up to the beginning of the month where there isn't the start of the actual month. So I went ahead and just put the 30th up here, and then I'm going to add in this little strip of decoration here since these dates aren't being used, which is very exciting. Well, that is the month of November at a glance, which is kind of fun to see. And so hopefully we get a lot of good reading in for the month of November. I did order next year's book journal from Peanut Butter Taco. She has available now on her Etsy shop if you'd like to join me in updating your book journal each month, or as you go along, as you read each week, each day. You can, depending on how you like to fill out your journals. But hopefully you are enjoying this book journal update for the month of November and updating content from October. And so hopefully you have a great November. Don't forget to share your favorite book that you had for the month of October, and or share an emoji from the fall theme. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. See you later. Bye.